Okay, hopefully this will be of help to people. This is a short video on how to retrofit cruise control to an Iveco Daily. Okay, so this is the first video of this type I've made. I've approached a number of people and asked how easy is it to do cruise control on an Iveco Daily. You get a few people saying, oh, just do this, just do that, it's fairly straightforward. Well, let's see if it is. So the cowl underneath the steering column, which is that piece, is held on with 3 screws, very easy to remove, no problem at all. Top cowl is held on by 2 screws going through a metal framework. Unscrew those through the actual steering column mechanism. You have to put the screwdriver up inside. That then comes off. Metal framework will come out and you can see the connection there. Next problem is, everyone says just remove the airbag. Okay, yeah, not quite as straightforward as they make out. Let's have a look at the underside of the wheel. Okay, so apparently there are 3 clips that you remove. Okay, well, quite where those clips are, all I can assume is they're up inside that oblong area there somewhere, because there's one there which is at the bottom of the wheel, there's another one up in there and another one that side. So okay, well, wish me luck. I'll see if I can get it off, and if I can, I'll show you how it's done. Okay, so I had disconnected the earth terminal, negative terminal from the battery, but I'll also disconnect the airbag connections before trying to remove it. Right, in case you're wondering how to get these off, it's just that little release lever there on that side, and then I'll do this one-handed. Disconnects like that. Okay, so removing the airbag is, as suspected, up inside these little things. And what you probably can't see up in there is a little metal bar or clip. Now, whether this is the right way of doing it, I don't know. But I found by putting a screwdriver up in there, like so, and twisting it, it releases the clips. And voila, unreleased airbag unit. So the clips that you're releasing with your screwdriver are these ones. Okay, so by putting the screwdriver up inside those slots, hopefully you can see on this one, wherever it is, like that, and twisting, it pushes them back and releases them. Next thing, remove that. Before removing that said nut in the middle, I've just recentered the wheel, because what you don't want to be doing is trying to put the wheel back on and not having it centered. So I recentered the wheel before removing it. Okay, so before actually removing the wheel, disconnect the airbag connections. That one's fairly straightforward, that comes off. This one in the middle here, there's 2 little tabs. Trying to do this one-handed while holding a phone is not always the easiest. Press those in and then it'll pull out. Okay, so removal of the center nut. Needs some sort of extension bar. This is a bit overkill, but it's the only one I had that was long enough because the dish, or the deep dishness of the wheel, it's quite tricky to hold the wheel still and release it, but it will come off. Little tip, don't fully release the nut before pulling the steering wheel towards you, because if it lets go all of a sudden, you find yourself being twatted on the nose. So just leave the nut on a little bit, make sure the wheel's released, and it's going to come off and take the nut off, and the steering wheel comes off. Okay, so underneath we have a multi-connector, grey multi-connector just there, and you can press the little thing in the middle there without the whole console coming off, and it unplugs. Okay, so next we'll remove the clamp holding the stalks in position. So it's just this little clamp unit here. Either use a spanner, socket or screwdriver and just release that. Okay, so with that released, like so. Okay, so nice new unit. Has the red locating tab in position, which I'm assuming is there to make sure everything lines up when you're putting the new one back on. So we'll leave that in position for now and see what happens. So that slides on. Okay, so in reverse, we'll tighten up the clamp, make sure everything's located firmly in position. Okay, so this is the connection for the cruise control. It comes on the stalk set, and you have to find the other end. Not as straightforward as it might seem. Mine was buried way back underneath there. So I'll be reassembling all this in a minute. Okay, so having managed to locate the cruise control connector, I think the best way to locate it or route it is up underneath the metal bracket that holds the steering column in place. So then the connection that comes with the unit can plug straight in and it's kept out of the way. Okay, so the grey multi-connector, he says, goes back in there, like so. Airbag connection, like so. Okay, so making sure that everything is central, locked in position, the spinner is as central as possible. Remove said retaining clip, making sure that's central, and then the wheel goes back on. Okay, so once the splines are lined up and the connections are lined up in here, steering wheel is located back in place, tighten up nut. There probably is a set torque figure to this. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm sure someone will tell us in the comments. Okay, so when the wheel's going back on, make sure that the locations and the wires feed through in this, and obviously make sure the splines locate and line up here. Okay, next step will be reconnecting the airbag. So you've got the two connections, green one goes in the center and the black one just goes on there. Okay, so repositioning the airbag, there are 4 of these on the steering wheel corresponding onto the airbag unit. Make sure they're located and then just press it home. So when the airbag locates back in, you get a nice resounding click from all those tabs that were released before. Okay, so on the metal hanging bracket used to refix the cowl, a little retaining clip remained in place from the previous steering column or steering stalks. Just remove that and replace it with the new one. Comes with a new switch or connection. Okay, so refitting the bracket, put the long screws in position first. It's then located up, goes through there. See that? There's one that side and there's one corresponding the other side. And then the cowling, the top cowling goes in position and is screwed in by that. When repositioning the top cowling, just make sure these rubber flaps are located inside, so they go up inside there. Okay, so with the top cowling back in position and the bracket back in position, you can then refit lower cowling. Obviously taking keys out first, otherwise it won't work. Okay, so when repositioning the bracket that holds the cowls in place, make sure it sits above this, because if it sits below it, bottom cowl doesn't sit in position. So make sure that goes above. Okay, so fully working cruise control fitted. Actually quite a straightforward job when you're aware of where all the clips are and everything. So hopefully this video is some use. If it is, give me a thumbs up or maybe even subscribe, as they say on YouTube. Hopefully some use. Thanks a lot.